Hi pals, it's Mick, and this week my nails are even worse, but I still have for you my December plan with me in my bullet journal. If you know me well, you probably know that I'm really not a Christmas person. I kind of do like to decorate for Christmas, but it's not my favourite time of year. So I also really don't like Christmas carols. And I decided that I wanted sort of something Christmassy for December, but I didn't want the theme to be very Christmassy. So I took my favourite Christmas carol, which is really only my favourite because it is in one of my favourite episodes of Bones, which is my favourite TV show of all time, and I picked kind of the least Christmassy part of that song and I used that as my quote. So the thing that I really like about Christmas is my friends and the concept of found family. I really like it. It's not like I dislike my family or anything like that, but the concept of choosing a family for yourself is really important for me, and rather than just having friends, I've really only ever had close friends, I guess. I don't have a lot of friends, but the friends that I do have are really important to me, and I do consider them more family than friends. So that was sort of what I was trying to go for with the quote here, and also actually the theme. Because I've done a theme for Steph and I've done a theme for Brendan, I thought maybe I would do a theme for one of my closest friends, Ellie. I've done a piece for her before, for her birthday, which I will link up in the cards above, but I thought maybe it was time to do a theme for her, and so that's why I chose a bee/hexagon theme. I also designed Ellie, and Sam is her husband now because they're married. I went to their wedding recently and I designed their wedding invitations, and Ellie really loves bees, so she wanted to really theme it like that, and so I kind of created an association between her and bees, so that's why this theme is for Ellie. So now that I've done the cover page, I'm moving on to the calendar, and when I was sort of thinking about how I wanted to do this one, I didn't really look for any inspiration anywhere else. I really wanted this theme to be very much my own and everything that I thought of, rather than taking inspiration from something that I'd seen somewhere else, aside from the fact that obviously I'm taking inspiration from bees. And I proceeded to immediately screw this up, as you can see, but basically speaking, I kind of wanted to go with a little bit of an abstract setup for the calendar. So it's still day by day, 1 to 30, as you do with a calendar, I guess. But I wanted each day to be hexagonal, and I knew that that was going to be kind of a challenge, which might not seem like a challenge for some of you watching because you're good with math and numbers and patterns. Me, not so much. I don't know if you can see the extra lines around the edges, but I didn't come up with this design with ease. There was quite a few different goes at it that I had, and because it kind of had to go up and down, so you can see like 1 and then 2 is diagonally beneath it, and then 3 and then 4, so on and so forth. So anyway, it took me quite a while to design it, and even as I'm lining it, I do come up against a couple of mistakes, and I just end up fixing those the way that amandarachlee taught me best, which is with a white gel pen and occasionally a white posca if it's a big mistake, which, oh my god, I could not get through a spread of this theme without screwing something up, and I really think it was just because it really required some precision with the patterns and things lining up and so on and so forth, which I already knew because I came up against the same issues when I was creating Sam and Ellie's wedding invitations. And if you're interested in seeing those, I will put that up on my Instagram. I haven't yet, I don't know why. I guess I've been a little bit nervous to share it, but they'll be up on my Instagram probably by the time that this video goes up, so I'll link them in the description down below if you're interested. So for each day of the month, I decided I didn't want to colour in the whole hexagon. I just coloured in a small part of it so that it would then be kind of like a background for each number of the month. And although I did want it minimal, by the time I thought that I was finished and I looked at this, it didn't quite look done, so I decided to add a couple of little drop shadows, also just as amandarachlee taught me. Oh, and if you're watching my videos and you don't know who amandarachlee is, that's kind of criminal, but if you would like to know who she is a bullet journal YouTuber who is essentially the queen of bullet journaling. and I'll link her in the description down below as well. And I wanted to keep this one pretty minimal, so that was that for the calendar spread. Just fixing up the final touches with my Posca pen here. So moving on, I have my mood tracker and my habit tracker, and the mood tracker is going to look really basic until it's filled out, pretty basically speaking. I don't know how else to word that, but what I wanted to do with it was I wanted to use bees for each day. So you might have noticed that I've been doing little doodles of bees all over the pages, and I have their little flight trails marked by little dotted lines. And so I thought that would be cute to use as a mood tracker, and they would be longer dotted lines the happier I was that day, I guess is the way to explain it. If you're interested in seeing it finished, please check back at the end of December, where I will most likely post this on my Instagram page, because I do have high hopes for how it turns out looking. I think it'll be really cute. But as it stands for now, it's a little bit simple. I've just got some cursive lettering, and then to mix it up a little bit, I did a background of yellow in just some print letters, and I go over that with my fine liner, which, by the way, I don't know if it's obvious or not, but I'm actually using a brown fine liner for all of the details that I need to use a fine liner for today, because I really like brown and yellow together, and it, in my opinion, really drives home the bee theme, because bees are brown and yellow, or sometimes black and yellow. I'm actually not really sure. Maybe I should look that up. Anyway, we're now moving on to the habit tracker on the next page, and obviously the mood tracker is sideways, and that's because I don't have enough room in my bullet journal to do this sort of mood tracker vertically, so it has to be done horizontally. And then I leaned into the hexagon some more and made a hexagon for each of my habits, and then within that I did the shape of the month, which I've explained in previous bullet journals. It's difficult to explain, so I'm not going to go over it again. And I did some extra ones just poking out from the sides because I wanted it to look like it was kind of in the midst of a honeycomb. And of course I've added a couple of little bees around the edges with their little flight trails. I was concerned about messing this one up with a little bit of extra colour, but I also thought it looked a little bit too bland without some more yellow. So I ended up adding that in by colouring in the outsides of the honeycomb around the edges of the calendar trackers, as well as highlighting the word tracker just to make it stand out a little bit. And I really suck with habit trackers, but I kind of just use them to sort of see how much I do a particular thing. It's not something that I'm encouraging myself to do most of the time. Most of the time it's stuff that I already do and I want to see how often I do it, because if it's something that I'm sort of pushing myself to do, then I find that I just don't fill out my habits, because it's almost like I have an issue with being told what to do by myself and then I avoid doing it, and it's really dumb. But I really cut down on my habits this month for that reason, because I kind of felt like I was forcing it. And when I do my bullet journal flip through, which I plan to do later on this month, no, it'll be next month because it's still November when I'm posting this. But when I do my bullet journal flip through, I think you'll see the parts where I've kind of just given up on habit trackers, and sometimes mood trackers too, because I'm the sort of person that forgets to do these things daily, and then I'll look back at it and be like, oh, I can't remember how I was feeling on that day, so I'll either just fake it or I'll leave it out, and I don't think that that's the point, and it's not particularly productive. Moving on, I'm now working on my weekly, and again I'm trying to incorporate the hexagons to look like honeycombs, and I have used my ruler to sort of anchor. Even though I've got the sketch, it's really nice to have a deliberately straight line because it makes it much easier to make the honeycomb symmetrical and work properly. And now I will showcase for you again my ability to draw straight lines, which I'm very proud of. And then because I've done that and proven to myself that I can do a straight line, instead of turning the page so that I can do it again for the horizontal lines, I just got my ruler out again because it was just easier and it worked better for filming, because then you wouldn't have to watch me spin my page around and mess with it too much. So because there's an extra box that fits into this spread, I used it as a place for me to write down what happens next week, because I do have a real big issue with organization and I struggle to remember lots of stuff. So I wanted to make sure that I had a place to look ahead a little bit more than just 1 week, and I always fail to do my spreads early for the following week, so I definitely need that next week box. And then I added in my little bee, of course, and I coloured in each of the headers, and then I added the drop shadow again. Now for this one I really messed up quite a few times, and it was because I was rushing this one. I was about to go out, I can't remember what I was going to do, but I only had a certain amount of time to finish this spread, and the drop shadows just kind of changed direction and got bigger, and they were kind of awful. So I did have to go in pretty extensively and clean this up with my Posca pen as well as my white gel pen, because I needed all the help I could get, but I cut down the process significantly so it doesn't look like it was that big of a process when you are watching the video. And there you have it. This will be my final flip through of my December setup in my 2021 bullet journal, and I thank you so much for watching. Please like the video if you liked it, share it if you think it's worth sharing, and leave a comment about what you thought about it, or if it inspired you maybe, because this is one of the only bullet journal themes that I've done out of my own head rather than getting it from someone else. So yeah, thank you so much again, and I'll hopefully see you next week. Maybe not. December's pretty busy. Bye pals.